What's going on, y'all? This is Cods, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Switch 2, and it seems some people are getting their hands on it early. And I just kind of want to talk about some of the discourse that's going on with it currently. Because you see, there are a lot of people spreading around misinformation, but there are also a lot of people glazing the system and the anti-consumer practices that Nintendo is showing with the Switch 2. Now, I will agree, a lot of the stuff out there is bullshit regarding the system. But I do think that a lot of the systems that Nintendo is putting in place is a danger to the consumer overall, and it's going to lead to other companies doing the same practices, and it's not going to be good for the industry as a whole. And before we get started, the game keycards are not an aspect that I'm going to be talking about in this video. Yes, I don't really agree with it, but I never agreed with it when they were doing this on other consoles as well. Nintendo is not the first people to be doing this. We should be focusing on the companies that have been doing this before. Like, look at Doom the Dark Ages. Doom the Dark Ages on console doesn't even have the full game on the disc. You need an internet connection to download it, and I'm not okay with that. Now, this is only in regards to consoles where you can buy a physical copy of the game anyway. I'm not talking about PC with Steam or stuff like that. But PC does have GOG out there where they give you an actual exe file for the game. So there are options out there for PC, but anyway, this is a whole other rant that I'm going to get into at some other point. But as we can see right here, a Switch 2 unit is already out in the wild. It's apparently locked behind a day one patch and can't be used. First part of the tweet was also shared by Wario64, reporting that a Switch 2 unit was out in the open. But Wario64 also went on to say this. Another person shared with me that they have a Nintendo Switch 2 as well. I have no permission to post pics, but can share that when they try to boot a Switch 1 game, message prompts, please connect to the internet and update your system. Needs update to boot a game. Now this to me shows me a couple things. First one being that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to require an internet connection most of the time. Now, you remember back in 2013 when the Xbox One was revealed and that you would need to scan your face with Kinect and you would always require a DRM internet connection to access the features of the console or even to play games? That's what this reminds me of. So why are people not outraged about this when people were outraged about it over a decade ago with Xbox? This also proves to me why reviewers weren't sent review units for the Switch 2. It's because they can't fucking use it. Now, normally when somebody releases a product like this, they're going to have like a pre-release press driver or something on it so that they can do an initial review of the system and then the day one patch for the consumers. They're not even doing this now. The reviewers can't even use it until June 5th. So it's basically a brick now. That's why you won't be seeing any of the reviews out before June 5th. Now, this may just be for backwards compatibility, and they just need to update that in, because there haven't been any reports of anybody using a Switch 2 game in the console yet. So, it could just be for backwards compatibility. Now, this is all speculation based on the reports that are out there, but bottom line, you should not need a lock on a console that you paid over $500 for in some cases to play your fucking games after you bought it. And it's just another one of the anti-consumer practices that Nintendo is putting into the Switch 2. On top of that, it also states in Nintendo's EULA that if you're using the console in a way to pirate games or any of that stuff, they're just going to break your console. It's not going to be able to use. How are they going to enforce that if it's not always online, right? Now, obviously, if you're not doing any of that stuff, you're not going to have to worry about it, but it's just a scary precedent for what console manufacturers can do with their console now. Because who's to say they could just draw the line right there if you're trying to pirate games or not? They could move the goalposts if they really wanted to and say if you're not playing it the way they wanted to, they'll shut your fucking console off. It's this weird dystopian thought process that I do not agree with at all, and I think it should not be in gaming whatsoever. Now look, I get it. A lot of games nowadays require an internet connection in order to play, like Fortnite, or hell, even look at the screen. Destiny 2 requires an internet connection to even launch the fucking game. But the entire console needing an internet connection in order to function and play games when you can already have a system that plays games, the same games, mind you, that you're going to be playing on the Switch 2, it's ridiculous, and people should be worried about this. I also real quick want to go over some of the people calling out the misinformation out there because they're being kind of deceptive doing so. Take this one, for example. I'm seeing rampant misinformation about the Switch 2, and it's mostly fueled by views, rage clicking. 1. Game prices aren't $80 or $90. They're variable pricing. This means that the price is game dependent. Photo 1. Now, let's look at this image real quick. Now, while they are correct, not every single game here is $80. They're being kind of deceptive about it. If we look at it, some of the games have an American flag next to it or a Japanese flag. That reflects their price and region. Because when we look at Cyberpunk at the top left, we can see it's $69.99. That is the actual price of that. I've checked it too. But we go down to Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition. How much does that actually cost in American? Because we can see that there's a Japanese flag right there. So let's see how much that actually costs.
Oh.
Now, I get the point that this user is trying to make, but they're being very deceptive in it. A game that was on Switch 1 that's being upgraded to Switch 2, if you're buying it physically anyway, is going to be $80. So clearly, there are $80 games out there. Let's look at another Switch 1 game that's coming to Switch 2. Let's look at Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh.
We can see here another Switch 1 game that's going to be $80 at the release of the Switch 2. Now, yes, prices are game dependent at launch, but who's to say in the future that everybody's not going to charge $80, including Nintendo? Even though they have shown right now that their Donkey Kong game is going to cost $70 at launch, who's to say their next first party games aren't going to cost $80? I mean, they're already doing it. Kirby, Legend of Zelda, two of the best Switch 1 games out there are coming to Switch 2. They're going to be $80 if you never bought them on Switch 1. And on top of that, Mario Kart World's going to be fucking $80. Now, I am going to give this user some credit because in their second tweet in the thread, in regards to number 3 anyway, they do show that the game key cards are identified in the photos. And I agree with that. I mentioned that earlier. But in number 2, they're also using PlayStation Dealer as an argument that other people do this as well. Yes, other people do this. It's not okay when they do it. It's also not okay when Nintendo does it. Using that to try to draw attention away from Nintendo's one is bullshit, and fuck right off for it, honestly. If I pay for the device, I own the device. What dystopian world are we living in where people think it's okay that the companies you buy products from are okay and they should be able to have control of their fucking devices after you purchase it? It's honestly ridiculous, and it has no place in gaming, in my opinion. Now, look, at the end of the day, it's your choice whether you buy the console or not and put up with this shit. That's not my choice. It's your choice. However, like I said, I think people out there should know what they're buying before they get into the troubles that Nintendo is going to put them through with some of this stuff. Yes, not every consumer is going to have to deal with this, but the fact that it's there is dangerous, especially from a company that has shut down all their previous eShop stores. So if you want to buy any of the games, you have to pay outrageous fucking prices secondhand. And some games you can't even play anymore because you can't even buy them anymore. Yes, I'm talking to you, Wii U, 3DS, and Wii shops. Because what's going to happen if the Switch 2 comes out to be actually always online, not just the speculation that we're thinking it is right now, and they shut down the service eventually? It becomes a glorified fucking paperweight at that point. So you pay $500 for a paperweight. It's absolutely insane. Now, anyways, I think I rambled enough now. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's a shorter video compared to my marathon one, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there regarding the situation. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment below, subscribe if you want more content. I'm out.